All right, welcome to a cheeky Monday morning podcast
Morning
episode. Yeah, Bill Burr, just checking in on yous, Kings fans. Hopefully, turn down.
Yeah, that's loud.
Sorry, man. A little bit loud over here.
You're killing my ears.
You can turn yourself down over there if you like.
Cool. No, I'm good.
Nah, you'll have to turn yourself down because I couldn't hear myself. Oh. I'll cut that out at the start. Welcome to another episode of On the King's Dime. It's the off season. How long's it been? A couple of weeks.
A couple of weeks since we bowed out very ungracefully.
Yeah, some other
Perth
stuff.
Taking the title over Melbourne. Thank Christ for that.
I don't know. Something happened, but don't know. Don't know what happened. No idea.
Irrelevant?
Some stuff happened. No idea.
Okay. Good on you.
But yeah, good on Perth for winning that. I was quite happy to just be like, yeah, some stuff happened and I don't know what that was. What do we got to talk about today? Obviously,
Will Wheaton.
I was going to straight away right into it.
Actually, I thought, who's the coach? Is the dude from the Star Trek dude from thing? But what's his name?
Big Bang Theory, yeah. Will Wheaton, the board game enthusiast, but it is actually Will Weaver. The coach has been announced. We've got Bogut going to the Warriors. We've got to talk about that as well.
Yep.
Then we should talk about the squad right at the end. There's some roster stuff we should go through, give a little rundown on what we think about what we should be doing under the new man, Will Weaver.
Doing very well in the G League over in America with the Long Island Nets.
Yeah.
It's taken them to the postseason with Mitch Creek obviously being part of that, and which is good. So we've got a coach with some postseason initiative and drive. Ben knows a little bit more about his background, but he was the video man for
Brett Brown. And his background is coaching and then video assistant work, and then obviously coaching under Kenny Atkinson for the Nets. He was assistant coach, and then he went down and took the G League job. But we'll go through that a little. As always, you can find us on YouTube and on iTunes and on Facebook. We are live on Facebook at the moment. Going out there through the system with some nice little things around here. It's looking pretty good. But should we talk about Andrew Bogut first?
We shall. He's come over to America and straight away making a little bit of an impact. We kind of called it as it is.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone who has an elbow game in the States is going to take him to town. Unplayable against some teams.
Yeah.
But today against Detroit, very playable.
Yeah.
Took Drummond to town a few times. Beautiful coast to coast around the back. Little
that around the back, very reminiscent of some of his NBL achievements, because I think he had a similar one against maybe Illawarra or Adelaide or something like that. A little bit
slower than maybe a few years ago. Right?
Yeah. Like, I think that's the one thing you notice straight away is just how slow he is compared to the NBA of today. Obviously, he left. What did he leave? 2016.
He played injured last season a couple of games for the Lakers. He did.
And then he got injured against the Cavs. Or was that the year before? No, I think it was
17,
last year.
17 was his
17,
last
18,
game. I think early 2018, and then he retired, obviously, from the NBA, but had the opportunity to take a short contract back with Golden State. And why wouldn't you?
Of course, you take it for the money, and you'd also take it
just because you might get a ring.
Well, the ring and the tune-up. It's the perfect environment, I think, for him. I don't think you would go to any other franchise.
Well, I think you look at, not Kings related, but you look at what some of the other players, like Nature Y, I think, is in France. A lot of the guys are going to Europe to play some off-season basketball to obviously keep up their skills, because the NBL is such a short season. Yeah. You can't take that amount of time and not have something. So the SABL, which is kind of the Seabull League.
Did that get rebranded to NBL 1 or something, I think?
I think they're thinking about that.
Yeah,
it's a really local league here, but I think that is kind of the lower caliber player off season, but some of these bigger players will go off and play overseas in Europe.
Well, I think it's the ultimate place to play. I think it's not just about the ring. It's not about the money. It's not about the fact that he left the Warriors. I think it's the perfect place for him to play. He's not going to have to just play a relentless amount of minutes. No. He's not going to have to...
It's very matchup specific. They brought him in case they had to play against a big man that was essentially a dunk spot.
Yeah. Block shots. Well, that was my biggest concern with him going over there, how much weight he's lost. I thought, don't know if I'd go over there. I think the NBA's changed a little bit. There's a lot of really tough people now, like guards. And
did you see Taco 4 versus Zion today?
Yeah, Taco 4.
Holy shit, that dude is massive. I can't say that. And he makes Zion Williamson look like a gnome.
Yeah, man, he dunked over him too today.
Well, it's not really dunking. He just kind of reached to put the ball in the net over him.
But that was the thing I was thinking of, was how well will he size back in the NBA, because he looked a lot thinner and a lot smaller.
Obviously better for his joints and better for his longevity in the NBL as well.
Yeah, it's better to keep the injuries away. You know, he even said before he came back, like, he couldn't keep the weight on. Like, he couldn't keep that power up. He was just getting injured, like rib injuries and stuff like that. But then in his first game against the Spurs, like, it was like he stood, you know, the same height and the same width as Jakob Poeltl. And I thought, okay, fair enough. Like, that's the first test. Still looks real slow. Like,
yeah, it does look like he's dropped a notch or two in the old speed scale.
That's fair enough for the NBL, but obviously in the NBA,
again, he's not playing 42 minutes a night. He's playing 8 to 14 minutes a night. You can play high intensity for a few minutes in the NBA. But look, Golden State's kind of having a weird season as well, obviously with some injuries early in the season. Clay, hot and cold, very hot and cold. Durant, not caring much about. I think they've gone into postseason mode where they just don't give a shit. Well,
they have to, pretty much, because
just shut it down.
Their whole postseason hinges on all of those players being healthy. Like, they got 4 All-Stars. Boogie, obviously, you had no idea how he would come back. He could have been absolutely terrible, and he was pretty bad in the first couple of weeks. Now he's starting to come back into his own a little bit. Plus, you got the volatility of the Durant situation, Boogie's attitude in general. Draymond Green, his offense is gone. Like, it's just gone. He's shooting the 3-ball a little bit better, but to tie that back into, it's the perfect franchise for Andrew Bogut to just go, look, I'm just coming for a tune-up, and that's it. And they're like, yeah, no worries, we'll play you here. Kirk manages minutes really well. He's just going to slot in there, do this and that, play with guys he's already played with. I think it'll benefit us, the Kings, in a way that is really important, because it's not him going over there to just play like hard basketball. You got to go over there to prove something and do this and that. Like, you're just going over there for a bit of fun. And he said, like, waving a towel for, you know, if I wave a towel the entire playoffs, I don't care. Like, whatever. Which I'm happy with that. You know, better facilities to train in.
He's going to be training while he's over there, keeping the body fit, training with better players, and that is a very good thing for us at the Kings.
And also, all the travel he did to get to that Spurs game, and then I think he played the Pacers after that. His legs look like they're gone, but you would be thinking, okay, a little bit of tiredness. He's traveled all the way over there. You know, he's got to get back up to speed. I just don't know how much of that is going to come back. But that obviously doesn't really...
It's also playing 3-4 games a week. Like, true, even if you're playing 10, 12 minutes at high intensity, 4 games a week is going to be a lot on your legs compared to 1 at relatively...
1 a week is probably
moderate
better.
Intensity.
Well, it's better for him because that suits him. So that again ties into he's got nothing really much to prove there. The other thing too, he looks like he tries to block shots, but the speed's gone. But that doesn't, again, 2.8 blocks a season for the NBL doesn't matter at all. So he'll
got 3 blocks today,
he got 3 blocks today. He didn't get any in the first 3 games, but he got 3 today. That's perfect for us, man. I couldn't have, for the guy that he is, as in a basketball sense, it couldn't be a better situation for him. Yeah. So I hope he, like, touch wood, he doesn't get injured. He's been pretty good with his body this season. Hopefully he can come back and use this to, you know, further his experience in the NBL as well. Use that experience to come back nice and fresh.
Indeed.
Does that make sense? Going over there, playing more games, coming back fresh.
Yeah, he's going to come back fresh because
tuned up at least.
He'll be tuned up. He's not going to play. I don't think he plays a series against Houston. I think he doesn't play much of a series against Denver. He might, you might play a series aganch
Spurs or something like that. The Clippers maybe. Clippers don't really have an elite shot blocker. They kind of got Montrezl Harrell.
Yeah, he'd match up quite well against Harrell. Harrell, I think, has got a bigger body, and
he's more athletic. But he's relying on the rest of the team to do all the heavy lifting for him. He's just slotting in there, which is perfect for him. And I couldn't be happier for him at the end of this season. You know, I think a few people got a little bit upset. Oh, he's not coming back. Oh, no,
he's contracted. Happen. He's contracted for a second year. He can't pull out. He's contracted for next year to play for the Sydney Kings. I doubt he's going to get injured just with the amount of size that's come off him and the minutes he's playing over there. And I think the intensity that a lot of these teams at Golden State are playing down the back end, it's the tanking for Zion. They're either tanking for Zion or, you know, they're pretty much set of where they are going to be on the ladder, and it doesn't really matter postseason. You just match up against who you match up. So one thing I've noticed about the NBA, it really doesn't matter who they play postseason.
Yeah.
It's kind of, you have unique individual matchups, but it's postseason. It's a completely different game. Whereas in the NBL, it just felt like the same thing, different week. Yeah,
it really did feel like it was the same game.
It was the same game.
We did the same stuff against Melbourne where...
It didn't work in the same way that it didn't work during the season.
And
just not matchups, not playing the right matchups, playing time. I mean, that's Gazer's fault. Again, you know, did all right, but he's just not a matchups coach, and postseason is all about matchups.
So it'll be interesting to see how Weaver does, because he's got a lot of experience in the NBA system. It's a bit of a learning curve. He's got a lot of development experience, which is important.
He's played under some FIBA rules, though, which I think is really important.
Australian connections, at least, like at the very least. So that's good for that. Should we talk about the Boomers group that we got drawn in?
Yeah, let's talk about the Boomers.
You had it up before.
I do. Well, it's Canada, Lithuania, and Senegal.
So what are your thoughts?
It's the group of death, but I just don't see it as. I mean, Senegal's ranked pretty much the lowest contingent in the league. No NBA players outside of Canada. Lithuania doesn't have any NBA players. Senegal has one.
Yeah, Diop.
No, Georgie Deng.
Oh, Deng. Georgie Deng, yeah. Sure.
Georgie Deng plays for Minnesota.
Yeah.
And some pretty reserve minutes.
Reserve level. And we've got a fair few Aussies in the NBA. Like 10 or probably 8 or 9 that will play.
Yes.
Significant amounts.
We're really relying... I mean... Dante's injury is really untimely. He won't be back in time for the World Cup. I don't think he'd play anyway. I don't think Utah would let him play. I think this is his off season. He's got to get healthy. May see him at the Olympics next year, but so that takes out a shooting guard for us. Look, I want to see Josh Green in the lineup. McDonald's All-American, plays for Arizona State.
Been repping him pretty hard.
I mean, repping him pretty hard, man. He's pretty good. And really, as plays a backup to Patty Mills at the shooting guard 2 spot, we really need Ben Simmons to come in and Delhi to play that backup role. I think that just adds...
What's nice guard structure, like Simmons starting, Patty off the bench, Delhi for some hustle minutes here and there.
Play Patty at the 2 guard. You know, Patty's a shooter.
Yeah,
he's an elite shooter. You come off the curl, you can shoot the ball.
But then who else have we got? Like we got Brokoff.
Brokoff at small forward. Thon at power forward.
Yeah, it's getting a bit raspy, but Joe Ingles, you know, small forward, shooting guard, almost could play there. Like there's a lot of.
It's a second facility. You got 3 facilities in that starting lineup potentially. You play Jingland Joe at small forward or even power forward, and then Bainesy at the 5 with Bogut in the backup minutes. Yeah. Look, I like Isaac Humphries to come in and make a bit of a show. He played well against Iran recently. Can put the ball on the floor and get to the hoop. Can hit the 3 ball, which. Bogut can't do. Bainesy has been known to have a bit of a twinkle toes 3 moment in the corner, but I don't think they'll run a lot of plays. Boston runs that play for Baines. I don't think they're going to run that play.
It's high level stuff.
It's high level stuff. It's not going to be a national team when you've got 2 weeks to coach these guys into a tournament, especially guys that are collapsing in from the NBA. But you know, Baines has had an injury prone season, so who knows?
Yeah, that's a big worry, man, because he was originally diagnosed as it could be out for 6 weeks. Grade 2. Back.
So, 2 days later. So
thank God for that. Like touch wood, he keeps that off because he has had problems this season. Like a few.
He's getting old.
Here and there. He is 32.
But for a 6'10" solid dude playing at a high level in the NBA, man, that's. Your career's starting to wind down at the center position. You could understand if it was 6'5" playing shooting guard. You know, you can maybe play for a few more years, but the weight of the court and your heaviness on the joints is going to take its toll, and you're going to get more injury prone.
They play quite high grindy stuff too, a little bit like the Warriors. Like the Warriors.
Well, he clogs the lane a lot, gets tanked.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He gets his thing is body, like putting a body on someone, and it's Bogus the same. Like 4 years ago. This was brand new. Like, what? Bogut gets in the way, sets ridiculous screens, and people play make off him. Like, this is like, we don't know how to deal with this stuff. It's new stuff. Now, like, you're seeing almost every team do it.
Yeah,
almost
like
every
Joel
team.
Embiid, man. You see the 1-2 game with Redick and Simmons, where literally just Reddick runs around him in circles until he loses his defender and shoots the 3-ball. It's funny to watch. It's like cat and mouse.
But I think most teams are now, it's not necessarily just running pick and roll with a lot of slalom and a lot of guys in the way.
No, they run the screen for the curl 3-point.
That too, but I think even the in the lane stuff and getting to the hoop stuff, like players are getting more savvy to be able to be in a spot that gets in the way of other people. And there's a lot of like bumping.
Well, I think as well that the NBA game, I think it's going to be very, very different. So Ramika and Lisa have checked in.
Oh yeah, nice one. How you going?
Good work, ladies. I think that the game, or the NBA's changed a lot differently, I think, than the FIBA side of things. There's going to be a lot more legal screens set.
FIBA rules.
In the NBA and FIBA rules and get away with it. They're going to blow the whistle every 2 seconds in a World Cup tournament for a legal screen setting. You've got a smaller court, which means that lanes are going to be clogged and you can pretty much camp defensively.
I hope they kind of just don't do that because it's going to make it a pretty bad tournament. Like, it's pretty bad.
I mean,
but then the World Cup was FIBA rules as well, and that was pretty good. That ended up being a pretty good tournament.
Yeah.
I mean, we went out on one of the worst calls in history, but that is what it is. Those wounds have healed. Hopefully, we'll be able to erase them in 2020. Well, no, wait, 2020 is the Olympics. This year's the World Cup.
Yeah, this year's the World Cup.
Yeah, so hopefully, the Boomers, man, there's a lot of depth there. Even some of the NBL players. Like,
you got to put Mitch Creek in there. You really have to put Nathan Sobey in for a bit of...
and Goulding.
Goulding, that's the other thing. Or Golding. Everyone's... Yeah,
Goulding.
Whatever.
Goonie. Fooling, I like to call him.
Flop Lord.
Flop Lord. There's a lot of good NBL players, man. Froling. Who else?
CJ. Daniel Johnson. It's not bad.
Bairstow. Kevin Lish was playing in a few.
Bairstow at the power forward can stretch the floor a bit as well. Cam
Shoot
Glidden.
The ball, yeah. Brant and guys like that. We've got a lot of talent. Like, we've got a lot of guys there, really. It'll just be about cutting it down to 12 I think their rosters are, or 12 or 13 or something like that.
15 maybe in 15, the World Cup. You're allowed to have 2 injury backups.
That's where you're starting to, you guys like Bairstow and maybe even like Goulding and Sobey, that's when there's not enough room really for them.
Yeah.
With the amount of guys that are overseas at the moment, especially the way Brokoff has been playing recently and what he can give. But yeah, I think it's looking good. We'll do a bit of coverage of that too. Shout out to On the King's Time.
Yeah, we'll do it on the King's Time, and Aussies Taking the NBA. We might stream it simultaneously on both. We're going to do wrap-ups of all that. Again, short tournament in terms of games. Yeah. 6 if you kind of get to the final. 3.
That's true.
Yeah, quarters,
so
semi,
play each, and then
once, and then. So it's not really. There's not really room for error. It's 6 games in a pretty short period.
I hope we get Simmons, man. That's going to be unbelievable if we can have Ben Simmons playing that. That'd be fantastic. But we shall move on to the coach. So I put down here Bevo versus Weaver. Who would you have preferred?
Weaver, I think, brings a little bit more caliber in obviously being in the NBA recently. The G League's high level, man.
It's pretty good.
It's pretty good. They got some old, Anthony Bennett's, I think, back playing in the G League. He's a former number 1 pick. Got some pretty good...
Trash player, though.
He's not. Have you seen him lately?
No, I haven't seen him lately. Actually, but back then,
back there, he was like, that was bad.
A draft player.
Man, he's hitting at 40% clip from 3.
Well, that's not bad.
With decent
volume.
volume.
He's still huge because he got real big.
No, he's back to playable weight.
Yeah, playable weight.
Playable weight.
Not like a Yabusele. He hasn't got a rear end like that.
Dude is just.
So you're happy with Weaver anymore? Like any more you want to add to that?
Not really. It's again, I want to see what the team he brings in. To be honest with you, to add to Bogut. I think the only real one we've heard of is that Adnam's going to the Taipans. Other than that, we kind of have no idea what's going on. At this stage early, I think they're waiting to get the coach on board and make things happen in order to do so. So I think we'll wait and see, maybe do a bit of an update pod once we get a finalised team structure. But I know Kickett's on a team option. Deng Deng's on a team option.
Yeah, so Wilson's we'll go through the roster stuff after this. But
all right.
So what between Bevo and Weaver... Like, why would you not go with Bevo?
Well, there's no reason. Like, you'd be happy to have Bevo, but I think Weaver, the dude's taken the Nets to the postseason, the Long Island Nets to the postseason. I think he's got, and that's in a 50-game season. This isn't no 27-game season. They've consistently performed, and he scouted and picked well for a good team. and was the assistant coach at the Brooklyn Nets. So he's got that NBA caliber, whereas Beveridge doesn't. You want to take someone with NBA caliber who's worked in the NBA system. I think they could bring a bit more of a skilled offense and a little bit more matchup specific. I think actually Beveridge does the matchup thing quite well.
Yeah.
And he did that against Sydney. And that's why Sydney got chunked against Illawarra a number of times and shut down for no points. But again, you take quality where you can get it.
So I think there's kind of some higher thinking in this, where if you if you brought Rob Beveridge in, that's 1 or 2 seasons, maybe a third season. Then beyond that, you're changing everything again because probably Bogut's 36, 37. Everything's changing again. It's the NBL as well, so everything does change quite regularly.
Yeah.
But with Weaver, like he's got a lot of developmental experience, like developing young guys. He's worked with G League guys. He's done video. He's done all sorts of development stuff. I look at this and go, this is a big plan here. Like this is a 5, maybe 6 year plan. Cementing something very early on in getting Bogut with some guys, trying to match something. But I don't know if the Kings were thinking beyond Bogut, what's our life going to be? And they've gone with Weaver, just gone, right, well, let's fix the organisation, restructure some of the things behind the scenes with this guy who's got experience doing that. And then we'll kind of fix the way we do things as a basketball team, like as a staff, as a roster, as the actual infrastructure of the club. Yeah. So that's got to be what they're thinking about. Like I just think Bevo would have been 2 years and then probably that's it. Like Bogut at 36, that's it for him. There's no point rebuilding around Bogut. Like now you've got 2 years of Bogut to redevelop the entire squad and as well as the infrastructure involved in that. Then again, it could be like one and everyone gets the shits and he's out of there. But I see a higher level of thinking behind this decision.
I think there is a bit of a higher level of thinking. You also have to look at the salary cap
That's true, yeah.
constraints. I think this year has really proven that basketball can grow.
Definitely,
and it has grown effectively. And if you bring the money men in, and this is what the A-League has failed to do. They've gone in the complete other direction. Sorry to get soccer related. They're like, no, we're just going to go local talent and we'll get a couple of subpar European players in that might be, older or to fill up 10 good players, but nothing. The crowds have dropped off immensely.
Yeah.
The content of the league has dropped down immensely. It hasn't improved in 2 or 3 seasons. And they haven't brought big destination players to Australia to bring the crowds in. You do that, you bring the crowds in, you get the money, because other people will come and see Bogut around the country because they either want to watch Bogut or they want someone to destroy Bogut in the team.
That's
and
true.
You filled out stadiums. And that's bringing more money into the game because it brings more money in, more, dollars through the turnstiles, more people watching it on TV. That leads to better deals, hopefully down the track with... Foxtel or whoever, free to air, something like that. So you can get better caliber because the one thing that you have to remember here is that the G League salary is going up next year and going up exponentially.
Yep.
They will have players that are on $200,000 US dollars as like a marquee G League player. They haven't had that in the past.
No, I think they're trying to change the collegiate system.
They are. Essentially, you can come straight out of high school and go into the G League and earn $200,000 as like a marquee player for a one and done
livable salary.
Yeah. Instead of guys like Andre Ingram having to be a maths tutor in the off season. So they're changing it. So we're not going to get the talent that we once did. So how do we attract that talent?
Yep.
Well, we've got to bring Australian guys back into the frame. Like they should be already talking to Paddy and Dellavedova now, Matty now, to bring these guys back in when they're 33, 34. That's the long-term game is they get marquee deals, come back here. We want to see you play, give back to the local fans because I think that's important.
Are you talking about the clubs themselves or the league?
The league.
Yeah, the league should be.
The league, not the clubs because the clubs, again, are constrained by the salary cap.
Yep.
The league needs to go, all right, there needs to be marquee under this. We're getting 15,000 to a game. Let's get some marquee plays in because that's going to grow the league, grow the franchise amount, and be sustainable. And that builds all around Bogut. Getting back to Sydney is that how do we then grow around Bogut for the next year and how do we then go beyond? Well, I think Bogut will play on to his 35, 36.
Yeah. Yep.
There's no reason why he can't.
It's about the next couple of years because he's such a unique player. Like he's not a traditional big man. He's a very good passer. He's not
a bang down player.
That's what makes this decision, it makes more sense to bring in someone that's got new wave thinking, a young guy who has got a lot to prove. He has worked with the Australian team. Obviously, he's working with them at the moment. He has been there since 2014, so he's got those connections with some of these guys. Yeah. It's also how they build this team. Like we had a pretty good team last year, and there was some things at the start of the season we saw at the preseason that didn't really come out at all. Like cutting, ding, getting to the hole a lot. You know, two guys getting to the hole.
Cutting, baseline cut, straight dunker spot, bang.
Yeah, there wasn't much of that during the season. I just think, and it's tough. Like it's tough to make everything work all the time. So the club itself, I think, still has a lot of sort of groundwork still to do. Like it has to kind of, its basketball infrastructure needs to be built up just a little bit more. The intake of young players, I think, around the league needs to get a little bit better. And then the Next Stars program in general. Yeah. It's going to help. Like, having Bowen this season, like, sucks the Bowen's leaving. Like, you're just like, why do, like, that sucks.
He could be a pick and stash.
Well, he's contracted too for this season. Yes. But he's going to declare for the draft. He hasn't yet, but I'd say he's going to declare for the draft this year.
Yes.
But it's a shame. Like part of me goes, yeah, that's great seeing this guy for 1 year. But at the same time, I'm like, man,
you give him a bigger role this year. He could even go into the draft next season.
Yeah, that's what I think.
He's on a professional wage here. He's probably going to get picked late first round, early second round at best.
Yeah.
At this stage, maybe another year of like, all right, Brian Bowen, this is your year. You know, to take over a bit. You're starting small forward. You know, take that initiative, hit those three balls, and then declare next year. But
because he was a guy who could easily have played 26, 27 minutes.
I know, but even if he gets picked at 29, I think he gets like 800,000 a year.
Yeah, and he's got
guaranteed for 3 years.
He's got a definite at least 4-year path in the NBA. He's not someone you look at it and just go, wow, it's going to be like an absolute miracle if he makes it.
Yeah.
Where like you saw some guys last year like Jock Landale, where you're like, hey, he's killing it in Europe. How the hell did these
How'd they not pick him up after Summer League?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then obviously each player is individual and each player is different. And the league itself feels like it's trying to make it a better, like to support its players a little better. Like that's the part of the actual infrastructure of the league. It looks like they're trying to make that better.
Yeah.
And this Bogut thing, I think, is just the beginning. There's a few guys in here. I think Ben Madgen's coming back as well for the Phoenix, which is going to be really good because he had a pretty good year in Germany. But I just think it's a more long-term thing. Like, we're trying to make the club more sustainable by bringing in someone who has the potential to be here for 5, 6, 7 years, maybe even 10 years, if he really wants to stay here and, you know, keep going, or hand it off to somebody who has that new wave thinking.
Yeah.
Like, I love Gaze, but some of his stuff was a bit old world sort of stuff. Yeah. And that was the worry with Bevo. I was like, you're going to give Bevo 2 years to construct a roster around Bogut, and like, is he going to be able to do this? You know, is it going to work? But I suppose we should just move seamlessly onto the roster stuff.
Yes. I think at this stage, the only contracted player that's actually pen to paper is Andrew Bogut.
Bowen is still technically under contract.
No, team option.
You sure?
Yes.
Oh, sorry.
Team option. So they could pick him up, then he's got an NBA out clause in that as well.
Oh, he'll just declare.
Yeah, he'll declare. So it doesn't really make any deal. Kickett's got a team option, Deng Deng's got a team option, and Tommy Wilson has a team option.
Yeah.
The rest are gone.
And Ware's definitely gone.
Ware's got a team option. Yeah, Ware's got a team option, but you can't bring him back.
I wouldn't pick that up. There's no way you pick that up. Plus, he's an import. Like, that's just a waste of an import spot.
That is a complete and utter waste of an import spot.
I like the guy, and actually in the right environment, as a catch and shoot player who can hustle a bit at the small forward and power forward, you'd probably have him as your 8th or 9th man on an NBA roster. Like a Charlotte or someone crap, like someone really crap.
He's a G League player at best. Let's be real.
But I'm trying to translate. No, I'm trying to translate.
There's no translation of if you can't set a screen, you don't deserve to be anywhere near an NBA team.
As a catch, but then why would you have him?
You don't. Anyway.
Yeah, ripped him to shreds. So then the free agents, obviously, Kevin Lish, Jerome Randall, Brad Newley, Kyle Adnam. Strong rumours that he's going to the Taipans. Fair enough.
Yeah.
I'm happy with that.
Yep.
And then Dane Pinot and then Rainbow Ray Turner, who apparently becomes a naturalised Australian next year.
So he's
not an import, which would work perfectly.
Yeah, perfect. I think he's a great backup guy. I'd like to see him play at the 4. Man, he's got an elbow. He's a big dude, 6'10". Get him into the 4 for some backup minutes with Bogut, you know, when he's not Ray Puffed.
Yeah, Ray buffed. Yeah, when he's Rainbow Ray Turner. So who out of that lot do you think we should pick up?
Kevin Lish.
Yeah, that's it.
Kevin Lish, Jerome Randall.
I don't know if I would do it, man.
There was a lot of exploits this year where they just figured out, we can just set a hard screen for him and then just
destroy him on down screens, man.
Destroy him on down screen. His handles are amazing to watch.
It's great. Yeah, I love it.
It's just good to watch.
It'd suck if he left, but if you were building a team, I don't know if unless you picked up another guard.
You got to take the team option on Tom Wilson. He did not get a chance this year.
For sure.
Deng Deng, you got to take the team option off. Talent that is some of what I saw last year. You're like, this guy's really good. Give him minutes. He looks smooth. Good defense, hustles well, shoot the ball, stretch the floor. What else do you want? And you give him like 2 minutes.
Yeah, and then 10 minutes in the second last game in the finals, and then just nothing in the guy that's come on and change your fortunes just disappears. We're rehashing old wounds.
Salt.
And then Dane Pinot's probably
Dave Pinot can take his ugly haircut off to Illawarra with Emmett Nair and they can be best buddies because
run a 2-man game.
They can run a 2-man. Maybe they will play better together. Look, I think Dave Pinot's probably got a bit of talent. We didn't see any of it and it was just poorly used at best of the times. And so he got absolutely hammered on every opportunity on the floor by the opposition. Just go at that guy. And he really had nothing in return. So I don't think it's going to be picked up. Kick it, I wouldn't pick back up.
I wouldn't. You could probably find another 6'8", 6'9", shoot small forward.
You could find a 6'6" power forward that could jump higher than kick it at 6'10"
and shoot the ball at the same
clip.
I mean, he had a decent enough post game, but it was just very.
It died. It was no postseason post game. It just disappeared. And
very hot and cold.
Yeah,
I like kick it though.
Passing out of random situations across 3 players and then.
Not backing down, starching Goulding. And then Brad Newley is obviously the other big one.
I'd keep Brad.
Well, salary-wise, I'm not sure how that works. I think he's on a lot of money.
Dude, the maximum amount of money they're on is 160 grand.
But I think with the salary cap, it's like he's very high on the
he's
salary
cap. Probably higher on the salary caps. It'll be... Look, he's not young. No. He will get picked up by a team probably for a decent amount of money. I don't see why not. He's probably a max player somewhere in terms of our salary cap standard. So I would say that, yes, he won't be back, but...
I hope he is. If it doesn't mess with our cap and then... stops us from signing. Like, he's not a guy where you're just like, we have to get that guy back. Like, I think Kevin Lish is probably that one guy where you're like, we have to get that guy back.
Yeah.
And if we can't get anyone else after that, then we'll find the scraps of the NBL and just put together a Frankenstein team. But with Newell, it's not like that. It's kind of, if he fits, he fits. Because I think he, 5-3 pick and roll stuff with Bogut. We didn't see any of that really this season. And strong cutter and strong finisher.
We didn't see a lot of things.
Yeah, but...
We didn't see a lot of things.
And then, I think Jerome Randall kind of falls into that Newley category of just, look, don't break the bank for this guy.
Yeah.
You know, if it messes around with our team, I don't think he's a guy you can bank on.
You need at least a 6'3" guard.
Or, you're either giving Wilson more minutes and bringing someone else in who can defend other guards. And when Randall's getting rinsed, you can actually take him off the floor. Because he played a lot of minutes.
Yeah, he did.
And it was very, one of Lish or Randall has to be out there.
Yeah.
But whether that was, Gaze not really wanting to rely on Wilson at all, I'm not sure. But
yeah.
And I think that's about it. So who would you want to build in your starting 5? So Bogut obviously is going to be the center. Power forward?
Pick an import. Import is power forward. I think it's a really good position. Maybe with a Deng versatile 3-4 or a Ray Turner versatile 4-5 in that position as a backup.
Yep.
Small forward, like to see Bowen back. If he's not, we need to pick up someone potentially. 2-guard Lish. 1, Mello Trimble's a number out there, but he's only 5'10" as well. 5'11" maybe. So I don't know, maybe picking up something a little bit more of the 6'4" variety. You need a larger guard. I think oversized guards are now the way of the future.
Yeah.
Yes, Randall is the handles and he's amazing to watch when he disappears and the ball just pops out of nowhere and goes in. But it really was a defensive issue for us this year on the down screen and the lack of ability to rebound as well.
Yeah. I think with Bogut there, it changes how your guard structure has to be. Like you have to be a non-defensive liability if you're going to play at guard.
Yeah.
Especially point guard.
Especially getting rinsed on the curl as well, which he just did not fight around screens for the first 10 games. But he did start to.
Yeah.
And then he kind of got him injured almost in a sense.
He got injured sort of towards the end of the season, which sucks, man. But it sucks. I hope, he's also another guy where you're just like, if he's there, I love him, sweet.
Yeah.
He's there. So mine would be a center in Bogut. Then like a mobile sort of undersized power forward who can guard up. Someone who can create some offense and then, get to the rim. Maybe Newley. But that's kind of stretching it a little bit. Then I'd probably have Newley at the small forward if we can go back. Get an all-round scorer, someone who can create their own shot, like a go-to scorer for shooting guard. And then I'd probably just give Kevin Lish the keys to the offense. Let him go.
Yeah.
Because I think he's going to be a main on-ball defender.
Yeah.
And probably one of the best perimeter defenders in the league, if not the best perimeter defender in the league. Then you just got two guys to kind of go in and out on.
Yeah, Tommy Wilson's going to be that backup guy, though.
I think Wilson will be one of them, and then you got Randall and Adnam. I just probably don't want the smaller guards.
Yeah, don't want them back. Get those big guys out. All right, we've been going on 35 minutes now.
All right, sorry. This is the ABC.
It is. Yeah, we've got things to do.
Yeah,
you got a prego really wife to take to class. Class.
All right, so it was good to come back and do a little bit of a cheeky.
Bit of a cheeky postseason update on Bogut. We'll come back sporadically. Ben's having a kid this week, so. It's going to change a little bit going into the future when there is a screaming child and he does not get sleep.
As you've just found out, you're about 5 months into
coming out of the other side of it. So
so by the start of the next season, it should be just about perfect.
Just about.
Nice one. All right, take it easy, everyone. It's good to see you again. We'll see you later.
Boo.